Okay.
With you. Good afternoon, Harlem and Harlems of the world. It is a great day here in Harlem, as is every day. I am Terri Wisdom, and I am your host for Harlem Network News. Today is a different day as every day. We must, especially in this time of COVID, be flexible and fluid. We actually had expected our candidate for State Senator Cordell Cleare to join us. However, she is on a very, very serious path and trajectory. And I will just introduce our district leader, William Allen, who has once again stepped in and is really just giving final updates. Please just introduce yourself, William Allen. Let us know what your position is as district leader and some of the events that have happened here since we were here last week. I appreciate you greatly. Thank you.
Okay. Well, I'll be more than happy to answer any questions. I'm the Democratic District Leader of Central Harlem, which is the 70th Assembly District that pretty much runs from 110th Street to 145th. I'm a senior district leader. I'm actually the last African-American Black to serve as an election county chief at Board of Elections in the state of New York. There has not been a replacement for me yet in any of the counties throughout the entire state. And I'm not happy with that because I think that as we make achievements, we should not be leaving the foundation behind and constantly keep climbing. And we try to climb back down, there's no legs and no steps to climb back down. So we have to make sure as we build, we don't give up the platform that we created along the way. And so I feel strongly about that. A lot has happened since we last spoke last week, Terry, and I'm just excited that we could talk about that. Let's get with it.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. So bring us up to speed. And main and front and center is definitely Cordell Cleare. So if you would just bring us up to speed on that, that would be a good thing. Thank you.
So last week, we were pondering having someone who we thought was a Democrat. All of a sudden, they were running as an independent candidate. They had worked for a Democrat who became lieutenant governor. They had been vice president of a Democratic club. They had sought the Democratic nomination from the vacancy. And then and to our best of understanding, they were running as an independent even before coming to the convention. That was their intent all along. And so a lot of people just need to be honest and forthright. If they want to do something different, it's fine. We have nothing against anybody, but don't come use our party and that you're doing something else, because we're trying to unify our party and we're not trying to go back to anything that resembled disorder and chaos. And so that person who was running as an independent, that person is no longer running in this coming election. The Board of Election have viewed her signatures, a majority of her signatures, to be invalid. And that just goes to show you when people are trying to step up, and it just show that she wasn't ready. If running for senator is not just about what you're going to do inside of a legislative seat. When you run for an elected public position, it also means that you become the head of the political party in that district, and that we're looking for you to provide us with some leadership. And so, unfortunately, she was not ready for that task. And that
Okay.
is why no one in the county convention, I think she might have got like 1% or 3% of the vote at the convention. And that was not a significant amount to say that the Democratic Party is supporting you in Harlem or in the 30th state senatorial district.
Okay, well, thank you for sharing. And I'm Terri Wisdom. This is Harlem Network News. And Harlem Network News, as you know, is a new media platform. You can find us on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Clubhouse, and harlemnetworknews.com. We're also on Twitter, and soon to just come right back to HNN, Manhattan Network News, so that we can really broaden the horizons of our listening audience and assure that everyone can be informed. Harlem Network News, as many of you know, and we thank you, it has been quite a journey. It has been, almost a year and a half, and we started at the onset of COVID because we could see how critical and how important it was for us to really be here and speaking and, letting folks know what's going on. And it has proved, as you know, more important than ever. I'm going to speak truth to power. Would you just, before I speak truth to power, if you could just share as district leader, what does that mean in our area? How many district leaders are there? Who are they? And what is the process of a district leader? And we know right now it is all about power, the power of taking back our community, of taking back Harlem, of garnering our power, which is a very, very important thing at this time. It's something that we can do. It's happening all over the country as people fight for their right to vote. So just share a little bit about the district leader position, who other district leaders are, and a little bit about the Democratic clubs, because I want people to understand what we're talking about. And then I'm going to speak the truth to power, and I'm going to call out some names because I have.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good. First of all, to be a Democrat, people should know what that means. The Democratic Party has a constitution that defines what we are and how we do it. And I always encourage people to really, when they're ready to become a Democrat or any political party, they need to know what that value is. As a district leader in the 30th senatorial district, there's about 25 of us.
Mhm.
And the 70th Assembly district, there's 8 of us.
Okay.
And so we are the chief officers of the Democratic Party and our respective neighborhood.
All right.
As a Democratic district leader, we help to pull together the county committee members for our area, as well as appoint the Democratic poll workers who work on the polls on election days. So the poll workers are either Democrats or Republicans for the majority of those positions, and those who are the Democratic appointees come through the district leaders. So in my part A of the 70th, which I represent, I have 81 county committee members and maybe a couple of hundred Democratic poll workers. Democrats or Republicans.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing. Who are some of the other district leaders, and how are the areas cut up, just so that the folks understand what's going on?
For Manhattan, people can go visit the website, manhattandems.org, and it lists all the Democratic district leaders for Manhattan. I strongly recommend that they go to there's too many people to name. So please go to the website. Yeah, go to the website, do your homework, go to the website. All the names are listed there. All the names are also listed with the Board of Election, because the Board of Election is the regulatory agency that we all have to go through in order to be elected to any of these seats.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for that. And you have just been amazing for Harlem Network News and for Harlem, really stepping in and educating the community because, you know, knowledge is power. And
Yes.
the next is Harlem Network News being the voice and drumbeat of Harlem. So that's truly what we're working on. And I think during this time, the pandemic has been horrific, but it has really made us all get more in touch with ourselves and what is going on around us, and mainly because we've had to. And I probably can't quote it as eloquently as he did, but I do believe that our great and honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey really did speak about, like, adversity brings about change. And that's a very, very, very true and clear factor. So I think people are more politically aware, people are more medically aware, people are more aware about education, about the food insecurities, about the problems, the housing that exist in our community. So it's very helpful. So just to backtrack a bit, there was a county committee meeting, and that was where members of the county committee who are elected or appointed, and you'll clarify that, they came together and they actually elected who the Democratic candidate was going to be. And there were several rounds of the election, and Cordell Cleare, I mean, you can look back at some of Harlem Network News articles, not to belabor the point, but Cordell Cleare won the Democratic endorsement for the state senator for the 30th district. And that is the district that our now Lieutenant Brian Benjamin covered. So because he became the lieutenant governor, we now need to elect a state senator, and that'll happen in November. However, there was a circumstance where one of the people that was up for the candidacy who did not win in the county committee, and that is Shauna Harmongarth, had made a decision to run on the independent ticket. And that was all happening this week. And at the same time that this was happening, simultaneously, the Lieutenant Brian Benjamin, Lieutenant Governor, had come out to endorse Cordell Cleare. So there's just been a lot going on in Harlem, and we want to make sure everybody's aware. It does turn out that Shauna Harmongarth will not be running on the independent ticket, and that has to do with really not garnering enough valid signatures. So we are pretty much now back in a collective playing field where Cordell Cleare is the clear choice for the Democratic Party, and there is a Republican running. But the most important thing right now is unity, speaking truth to power, and assuring that whoever our elected officials are, or who becomes our elected official, must pass the test of the mustard, which means we're holding you feet to fire because we have a lot that needs to be put in order. So I've said it as eloquently and as truth to power as I could. And maybe you want to, you know, clean up because you are the expert on this, William Allen.
Okay.
In terms
No,
of where we are.
Let's have a discussion. And so you kind of said it best. Shauna Harmongarth had already started. She had started campaigning vigorously since the convention. Her posters and flyers been all over the community, from the southern end to the northern end, from the east to the west. Many of us have tried to reach out to her and felt that it was not a good thing to, when the Democratic Party was trying to unify itself in Harlem, what she was doing was going against that. And it's quite unfortunate because many of us had high hopes for her. And this approach did not reach us favorably.
Okay.
in terms of her maybe seeking future seats. Um,
Mhm.
our goal now is to make sure our party is strong here in Harlem and strong in Manhattan. So therefore, we can hold other folks accountable, and it's also shown that we got a strong party and that people are coming together, working together, and that it's not about blind ambition or folks just trying to get an elected position, but the work got to speak for you. And that's what we're about right now. And we recognize as district leaders, you know, the district leaders actually came together in the 30th and said that Cordell was our clear choice. She was one of 4 district leaders running, trying to get the nomination. And the other 3, all before the convention was over, was supporting her. Al Taylor gave substantial support to her. Robert
Okay.
Rodriguez gave substantial support, and
Okay.
Inez Dickens gave support. So, you know, it was quite unfortunate at the convention that a non-district leader was being, 2 non-district leaders was being promoted. But when the district leaders in the club saw what's going on, said, listen, no, we can't have that. We need to make sure that it's people who understand organization, who understand how to make the party stronger. We need to get behind that person. And that's how Cordell got the position. And also, Cordell is a former chief of staff for a city council person and a state senator for 19 years.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
she certainly had she had a lot of experience going into this, and I think everybody saw that she's going to really make a huge difference. She's a hard worker. She's very intelligent, and we're gonna start to see some really great differences of politics in Harlem, and we're going to be very, very proud of who we are and what we represent, and hopefully the next generation that comes after us, they will now have a set of tools and strong integrity to take this to the next level. We want young people to be involved, but we want them to come in trained, not come in with slogans and social media, but coming in knowing the neighborhood, knowing the people, and knowing the power that's behind them. That's what we want.
Okay, well, that's what we want too. And all of what has been going on with the elections, the primaries, and everything of that nature has really made the goals and aims of Harlem Network News even stronger. It's very clear, and we see it every day, just how much power the media has, be it
Yes.
social media, you know, be it all of the networks, how much power actually is held, because a lot of people are receiving their information straight from the media. I mean, that's clear even with the Trumpers, you know, a lot of them are not listening to television. They're on social media and they're taking it straight. And I know way back as a journalism student, I recall having to read in one of my classes, is the media the message, or is the message the media? Great book. Marshall McLuhan wrote it. And I think in these times, we're seeing that more than ever. You know what I'm saying? There's always been talk of what's propaganda, but we're way past that now. So I know that Harlem Network News can be very influential, and we are not about influencing people for, you know, our own gains or needs. We're about making sure that the community is going to thrive and that the community is going to be aware. And I think that's very, 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 very critical. So just a bit about Cordell Cleare. We understand how she got the nomination. We understand that in local politics right now, she's a superstar in terms of running for the state senatorship for the 30th district, which is huge. If you could outline just a little bit about the boundaries of the 30th district, and we're going to segue into the voting, but I really want you to talk about how Cordell Cleare and that county committee has really been a garnering for all of the Democrats and folks to really come together and unify, which we know unification is a way that we can actually make change, as well as speaking truth to power. We have a lot that is off kilter here, and we can't lament about it. We can't be overwhelmed. We have to just stand up. This is us. We got the army we got. So if you would just give a little comment about the unification, I would appreciate it. Thank you.
So the district runs on the western side around 87th Street, and on the eastern side about 97th Street. And then it goes all the way up to about 162nd and Amsterdam Avenue.
Wow.
And so it's a huge, it's composed of about 5 assembly districts, the 67th, the 68th, the 69th, the 70th, 71st, and the 72nd. And the mapping of the district can be found at vote.nyc.
Okay.
Go there to the primary source and get your information, and you can see the map, and you can find whether or not you live in the district. Also, if you go to vote.nyc and you put your address in, excuse me, I'm outside on location, so there's a lot of noise there.
That's okay. You're on the move, making it happen.
Yeah. So if you go try out your own address and stuff, it also would tell you what political districts that you live in. So all that information can also be provided to you too.
Okay. Thank you for that. And this is a time where everybody's got to do their homework. I'm doing mine. Yes. William Allen has been one of my instructors. I'm in school, and that's really where we have to be, because there is so much going on a international level, a national level, federal government, state government, city government, and we all must be clear on what governs what, because all of this impacts us, and all these people actually work for us.
That's right.
We are the ones who have hired them. We are the ones who pay their salary, and that's why it's very important that Harlem and the Harlems of the world connect. You can't be disconnected. This is Harlem Network News, and I'm Terri Wisdom, and we are a new media platform. We've been around about 1.5 years, so we earned our battle stripes, and we're still earning them. But very, very, very critical for us to be connected. If you're walking around saying you're a business person and an entrepreneur, DJ, whatever the profession is, parent, you have got to get involved, because this is real. Our lives are impacted. We can no longer lay back and say we're overwhelmed and we're just going to watch a reality TV show. We can't watch it, because as my great friend, my schoolmate, always, Gil Scott Heron, quote, Spider-Man, Lincoln University, said, the revolution will not be televised, it will be live. And right now, in this kind of world, it's live and it's televised. So we really, 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 really have to be clear. William, can you we're with our great district leader here in Harlem, William Allen, would you tell us just a wee bit about the Democratic clubs and, how people can get involved and why they should get involved? And then let us know what's coming up. What are some of the dates that are coming up in terms of voting? We know that there is an election November 2nd. Let's talk about the dates, the deadlines. Can people early vote? What do they have to do to get registered? And you already told them, how they need to look up, what their district is. And then we'll talk about some of the key players that are running in the Democratic Party here. Okay, so let's get some dates.
So the Democratic clubs are important organizations. They're the place that Democrats can go to find out what's happening in their community, but also what's happening in their political party. It allows them to be engaged and to be actively engaged, which is very, very important. ManhattanDems.org it's a website that lists all the Democratic clubs in Manhattan. You can go to that. Or if you walk your neighborhood, you can find them. I mean, many of them have storefronts. my club and Uptown Democratic Club and Michelle Obama Club, we don't have storefronts, but we're very active. We hold regular meetings every month. So you can reach out to us, or you can reach out to me directly, William Allen, at 917-612-2871, or WilliamAllenNYC@gmail.com. And I'll be more than happy to direct you to all the clubs, and then you can pick which one fits you best. But you got to be engaged. You can't just blame everything on the politicians. At the end of the day, we are all responsible for this democracy, and that the democracy is at its best when there is participation. There is I accept no excuse from anybody not to be civically engaged in their community. Politicians by right are representatives. And so if you're not talking to them, they're representing somebody else.
Okay, thank you. And we now must hold feet to the fire. The time, I'm Terri Wisdom, this is Harlem Network News, and the time for, us seeing a politician, a public official, I call them public officials, the time for us seeing them when it's time to vote, and then us never seeing them again, and us not being able to ask them anything, that time is over. It's over. It's got to be over.
And you know what, Terry? You know what?
Yeah.
Also, the people always say things like, "Oh, I don't see the pontoon. It's time to vote." Well, that's your fault. Because first of all, you should be constantly seeking them out. I mean, just like I said earlier, the 30th district runs from 87th Street to 162nd. It's huge. And
Right.
so,
yes, I didn't even realize that myself.
Yeah, so you can't be seeing her all the time because it's a huge district, and the job is up in Albany. And so at the end of the day, people got to join a political club or some civic group or the community board. They have monthly meetings and committee meetings. You got to get involved or talk to your neighbors that are involved and get the information, but just don't say, "Oh, I don't see politicians all the time," because that's not true. We're around all the time. I mean, I attend so many meetings until I'm exhausted. And so I would love to have more company. I would love to have more company in these meetings.
Yes, and it's and I think it's also, you mentioned the community boards. People need to find out, what is your community board? I'm actually a member of Community Board 10. The community boards have a variety of committees, from the Economic Development Committee to a committee for the aging, housing, parks and recreations. So whatever your issues and your concerns are, you can come to the General Community Board, which is the first Wednesday of every month. But you can also look on the website for Community Board 10, which is really Central Harlem. And you can find out when the committees are. If you have an issue or a concern, and I don't want to jump ahead of myself, I'm trying to just, keep the conversation fluid and in order, but we do, in the housing committee, we did have members of Esplanade Gardens come to the housing committee. Out of that, and because I'm on the Harlem committee, housing committee, and the chair, the Honorable Charles Powell, and the vice chair, Donna Gill, they were very key in really receiving the people that came from Esplanade Gardens. Out of that, Harlem Network News, we did a show with the members of Esplanade Gardens, with the chairs of the community board. And then I have been doing investigative reporting and expose. I've been going into the apartments of Esplanade Gardens and seeing what is going on there. And I've also attended an oversight meeting of their board. So this is how action starts. Very, very critical. I'm going to segue, and we'll go back to that, because I want us to stay with election voting and getting those dates out. When can people early vote? What's the deadline for them registering? Must they register for a party in order to vote for a Democratic candidate? How does that all work?
So all this information can be found at vote.nyc. That explains all that, but I'll try to paraphrase it. But I always like to send people right to the source. First of all, according to vote.nyc, The early voting dates actually start this coming Saturday, right, which is the 23rd of October, and ends on
Okay,
Halloween, October 31st. And then
okay,
the general election day is November the 2nd. If you're not you don't have to be in a political party to vote and the November 2nd or the early voting days. That's why it's called general. That means you can vote for whatever candidate you want that's listed on the ballot. Of course, I'm a Democratic district leader, and I encourage folks to vote for the Democrats. But
okay,
you have options. Normally, you don't have an option if it's a primary. Primaries for only those who are in a political party, and they can vote for someone inside their party to be the nominee of their party, and that's the difference. And that's the process that Cordell Cleare came out of. She went through a Democratic convention, and she was made their nominee to fill the vacancy of the state senatorial seat in the 30 by Brian Benjamin. So therefore, she is the Democrat nominee on the ballot for this upcoming election, starting this Saturday and ending on November the 2nd.
okay, excellent, excellent. Now, it may have missed me. I'm Terri Wisdom. This is Harlem Network News, and we're having a great day in Harlem. As every day we're speaking truth to power. Knowledge is power, and we are the voice and drumbeat of Harlem. You can find us on, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. We are also on Clubhouse, HarlemNetworkNews.com, and soon to be on MNN, so that we can really broaden and make sure that we are informing the people. What, again, just, so that that's ingrained in people's heads. What's the last date they can register to vote? And what initiatives are the Democratic clubs and, everybody here up in Harlem, the district leaders, what are we doing to get the people registered, to get the people informed? Because we have a lot of people here, and not just in Harlem, in New York City for the primaries, only 28% of the people voted. And by now, with everything that has happened with COVID, all of the disparities, the Board of Education situations, we have so much going on. I mean, everybody should be running to vote at this point. So what's the last day they can do it? And as they're registering, who can they register to be? A Democrat, a Republican, or can they just register and be neutral? And
well, it's too late. It's too late for, that was a lot of questions, Terri. Yeah, you lost me here.
Okay.
They got to go to vote.nyc. That has all the information. People got to be always given the source that they can always go to confirm the information. So they don't have to just look for you and me. They can go right to that agency that provides all that information. Registration, I believe, for this election is over. Normally, I think it's like 30 days prior, right? And this is a general election, so you don't have to be in any, if you've already registered, you don't have to be in any political party to vote in this election starting Saturday.
Okay, so if you're registered, you can check to see.
You can vote.
Yeah, if you're registered, you can vote, and you can check. We're just going to be a short while longer. But if you're registered, you can vote. If you want to check if you're registered, do they still go to vote.nyc as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the agency. They can check on the status of their registration, their vote, and where to go vote at. They can also find out what their ballot looks like on on those election days. They can actually see who all the candidates are running in their district.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
That's the source to turn to.
Okay.
And for those who want to also work on election day in the future, they can be poll workers. They should contact their local district leader and say, "Hey, I want to be a poll worker."
Okay, so that's another way to get involved. And I know
another way to get involved.
Yeah.
And then you're paid in that sense.
Yes, and you're paid to get involved,
Yep.
and you are connecting with people, and you're also controlling what is happening in your community.
That's right.
You're coming there with your integrity, because we all saw during the most recent presidential election how important it was who was in there counting those votes. You know what I'm saying? So, you're protecting the community by doing it. Okay. So we have some key people running and some key folks that are up for election right now. So it's a big year. It's not a presidential election, but we do have, we're looking at Cordell Cleare's picture, and Cordell Cleare's office is right on Adam Clayton Powell Jr. Boulevard. It is between, I believe, 134th, 133rd, and it's next to a very great Black-owned restaurant called Harlem Hops that has craft beers, and they also have a scholarship program, and they've got some nice and tasty bites.
I'm walking you over here. There you go.
All right. Okay. A shout out to Kim Harris and the partners. This is Harlem Hop. So we love it. We love it. So there's a lot, the shrines across the street, and so there's a lot going on in the area. And we just have so much. We've just got to support our businesses. But what I do want to say is that we do have some key offices coming up, key elections. We've got obviously a mayor coming up for election, and the Democratic candidate for mayor is Eric Adams, who is the Brooklyn Borough president, and he won that nomination. So that is coming up. He is running against Curtis Sliwa, who is the Republican candidate. So that's a huge thing because the mayor impacts a lot that happens in local business. We have someone coming up for Manhattan Borough president. That's Mark Levine. Mark Levine currently is a council person, and he is head of the health committee for the city council. A lot of power is wielded there. So it's very important that you really study these candidates. You need to call them. You can go visit their office. You need to make your concerns known ahead of election and after the election. We have our city council person coming up in District 9. And I know, William, you actually ran for that seat, correct? So maybe you want to elaborate on that.
That was so long ago.
Woo.
That was so long ago. My energy now is as a Democratic leader of Harlem, making sure that Cordell Cleare wins and wins decisively in this current election cycle. And also make sure that the whole Democratic slate, maybe with a few exceptions, I'm certainly supporting Eric Adams for mayor.
Okay. All right.
And Mark Levine for Manhattan Borough president, and Brad Lander for controller.
Okay.
And those are the candidates of the Uptown Democratic Club choice.
Okay.
And those people I'm going to be putting my energy into.
Okay, those are certainly familiar names.
Yep.
That
they're all good Democrats that done work in their own neighborhoods and in this neighborhood, and people, my constituents say those are our choices. Just like Cordell Cleare is our clear choice.
Okay, all right. Now we have a gray area, and we can't step over that gray area. Bill Perkins has stepped down. It was a very close election for city council.
Bill Perkins has not stepped down.
Okay, all right. So let's.
He's still the city councilman until December 31st.
Right. Okay. So that election, because it's a little bit different. I know that you said with the election for the state senator, and I know this is all stuff that we can research, that when Cordell Cleare is elected, I'm going to put the projection out there. When she is elected, she will take office the next day or the same, as soon as she
would take office the next day.
The next day.
And that is in the election law. That is vote.nyc. The people need to confirm it. It is in the election law of the state of New York. She takes the seat immediately after she is elected on the election day.
Okay, and that's very, very important and very critical, because Brian Benjamin has been the lieutenant governor now for, almost going on a month. And
exactly.
Yes, and it is my understanding that our majority leader, Andrea Cousins, has really been the overseer of that.
That's right. That's right.
That
That's
spot
right.
until Cordell Cleare, or the state senator, is elected for our
That's right.
30th district. So these
That's
are
right.
very, 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 very critical things. Now, getting back to Councilman Bill Perkins, he'll be on until you said December 31st. So we've really got to rally. And I know that he's had some health challenges, but he does have a staff. And we have got to make sure that we are represented, because a lot happens in the city council. We know that, is there a Democratic runner? I know that Christian Jordan Richardson basically is she the Democratic nominee for the City Council District 9? If you would elaborate on that.
She won the Democratic primary for the City Council seat.
Okay. So, and do you know, there is a Republican that is going to be running against her, but
yes, our fear is Marcus.
Okay. And in this instance, I mean, New York City has pretty much been a Democratic town. But what is the picture of the Democratic Party? What does it mean to be a Democrat as opposed to a Republican? Or has it now become more like, who are the people? You know what I'm saying? As opposed to what is the body of the party?
Being a Democrat versus being a Republican is like President Obama and President Trump. Here's your difference.
Okay. I got you. So I know that Christian Jordan Richardson has really come up on an independent. She, I believe, is a former educator, an artist, an author. And she ran her own independent ticket and was able to win because folks came out to vote. You know what I'm saying?
She was able to win because too many traditional Harlem residents it was too many of us in the race, and we split the vote, and someone who nobody really knew won the nomination. And that was tragic. That's what happened.
Okay.
We wasn't smart enough then as we are now.
Okay. All right. So,
and it's not taking, and I'm not trying to take anything away from her, but
no,
nobody's seen her at a community board meeting or anything prior to this election. I don't know where she taught at. You mentioned she's a teacher. You have not been able to name a school or a job she held that we know of yet.
Okay, I hear you, brother.
You know, I mean, she needs to come out and share that, and she should not take things so personal, because when you ask her these questions, she thinks that people are talking about her. No one's talking about you. You're the one who chose to run for office. You're the one who chose to enter the arena. So grow up and accept it and start answering the questions of the people. Where did you teach at? How long you been back in New York? Talk to us. Tell us what your agenda is. What are you actually going to do? You know, and guess what? As we learn these things from you, you know, we can become more supportive. You know, but we're not going to let you come in and because we're raising tough questions that we become the villains. You know, just sit down and just like Cordell won the nomination and immediately called everybody together. Christian needs to do the same thing.
Yes.
She has yet to call any meeting with the district leaders because she don't have any respect for the Democratic Party. And she said that she hasn't gone to one Democratic club meeting at all.
Okay.
At all.
Okay.
And the clubs are not the enemy. I mean, we're the people that's been active in our community holding this thing together. I mean, the community boards have great people on the board. They're civically engaged. They know what's going on in the neighborhood. Meet with them. You know?
Well, it looks like Harlem Network News has an assignment. We're calling you out Harlem style, Christian.
Yeah, call her out, please.
Richard, we're calling you out. I'm going to find you. I follow up on everything I have to do. If somebody calls me, I call them back. You know what I'm saying? If there's an issue, I step out there and do what I can to, call awareness to it. So we can no longer sleep. We can't hide. You know what I'm saying? Our lives are at stake. personally and, as a community. So that we're not going to do. If there are friends of Christian Jordan Richardson listening, please let her know that I'm reaching out for her. I am looking for her, as we say in the community. I'm looking for you, and I'm going to find you. You can reach us at Harlem Network News at gmail.com, or you can call us at 646-261-5397, or hit us up on the DM, as they say, on Instagram, like all of those things, or, our next Clubhouse meeting, pull up, as the young people say, pull up, because this is that critical. We have gone through a lot. We may have been hibernating for, a little bit, but we're not hibernating now. And we owe it to our ancestors.
Break her out. She's even running somebody against Cordell next year. Okay, the person got their posters up already. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Come on now. Let's all sit down and come together and have some unity. Come on, we don't need this.
Yeah.
If you really care about Harlem, then meet with those of us who've been in leadership, trying to do our best to maintain this place.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of us have built the housing. I mean, I spent a lifetime building housing here in Harlem, improving
Mm-hmm.
schools.
Okay.
I have a right to be at the table. And if you're going to be my city council person, I have a right to be heard by you.
Okay, well, thank you. And do you want to say a little bit? I know Alvin Bragg is also coming up for election, and that's our.
I bet you mentioned his name earlier too.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
we're supporting him.
Elaborate on
he's
the Alvin Bragg
he's going to be incredible for young people and for people of color, particularly Black men in particular, because of what we've gone through with the criminal justice system. And now finally we have someone who have shared the experience, who have shared the experience of a justice system that's been on our back since we arrived in this country. And so I know he's going to be strong, he's going to be effective, and he's going to change the history of the city around. So I am just so happy that my little brother, I saw him grow up. I was very close to his parents.
All right.
And I'm just so excited that this young man went to school, went to some of those great schools that Christian went to, and have over the years brought these skills here, have made sure that people have access to him. He's come to the Democratic clubs, he's come to the community board, he's come to the NAACP, the Urban League, our churches, and have shared his message, and he's come to listen and to be guided by us. So I'm excited for what's going to happen now for us. And maybe we can turn the tide around now with us losing our property in Manhattan, especially in Harlem, where Blacks are down to 42% of the population. And hopefully leaders like him can now to expose the fraud of land grabbing that's taking place in the city that's really been pushing us out. We have HDFCs it's just so horrible what's happened with these HDFCs, where Black women in particular who are now elderly and retired, they're being pushed out of their buildings. So there's going to be a lot of work for Alvin and those who are going to be in office starting January 1, and we're going to make sure they all stay very, very busy.
Okay, well, thank you very much. And we can't mention the district attorney without mentioning Rikers Island, which is an incredible travesty. And, it's all about community, and it's all about information. On HNN, Amy Goodman's show, you can probably Google it. There's a very good expose on Rikers Island, saying that Rikers Island is one of the largest jails in the world. And, right now there's like about 5,700 people that are in there, all of who are Black or brown. All of the workers there are Black or brown. 50% of the correction officers are women. And I do know that Jamani Williams, our public advocate, and some of the other assembly people did do a walkthrough at Rikers Island. And for those of you who don't know, understand that they found people who were housed in a shower for a cell. Okay, they had 6 people. They witnessed this with their own eyes. 6 people in a cell where a toilet wasn't working. And, they were using a plastic garbage bag, 6 people sharing it for using and going to the bathroom. This is an atrocity. One of the assembly people actually almost witnessed, you know, someone trying to hang themselves, and the people were like, miss, you know, somebody's trying to hurt themselves. This is crazy. And this is our people, and the 200 people that Governor Hochul moved out of Rikers, moved them to a state facility, Bedford Hills, okay? And some of these people are just awaiting trial. So the trauma and even what it takes to get to court from Rikers Island, people waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning and don't get to the court till 12. So we got a lot of trash to clean up. This is Harlem Network News, and imperative that we do that. We could keep talking, and I'm not going to get off this show without talking about Esplanade Gardens and the travesty and abuse that is going on there with our seniors. Okay, they don't have water from 9 to 5. This is under the guise of capital punishment. It is punishment, capital improvements. Capital improvements that are happening in their community, in their buildings. And, you know, they do have a board, so it's under the board, but as we really search, it looks like a lot of, they're calling for a forensic audit, okay, which needs to happen. And they do have some elections coming up. And I did speak with Brian Benjamin, Lieutenant Governor Brian Benjamin, about this. And it is my understanding that he has called 2 meetings. Brian Benjamin has said Assembly Member Al Taylor is taking the lead on this. And there's a meeting actually tomorrow. We will post it in our Instagram. That is a town meeting about what is happening at Esplanade Gardens. I've seen it with my own eyes. Contractors are taking up like 13 to 20 apartments in there, and they're not paying for it. I mean, this is an atrocity. And a lot of the people that are there are seniors and seniors. So, you know, they're just being abused. So I feel like every organization from, you know, our Tish James, Honorable Tish James, to the Department of Aging, to the health committees, has to get involved in this, because this is pretty serious. So closing notes, we could keep on talking. What are some closing statements? And you will find on our Instagram the meeting that is going to happen tomorrow. And that same meeting is going to happen on Thursday. Al Taylor, Assembly Member Al Taylor, is going to, you know, bring that up. Okay, he is calling the meeting, and he is taking the lead on this. So you can look at our Instagram, our Facebook, and you'll get that information. The meetings are Thursday, on Monday, tomorrow, and then the same meeting is going to be Thursday, so that you know, it gives folks an opportunity. So William Allen, you want to give some closing statements, our great district leader, and I thank you so much. And Cordell Cleare, I'm putting it out there. I know with the schedule and everything that's been happening, and I appreciate the fact that you and your, you know, schedulers have communicated that you could not make it today, but we're going to get you here, whether it's for a special or whatever, and we're going to keep it moving. Cordell Cleare, Clear Choice.
You need to get Christian Jordan here. That's
yes. Oh no, Christian's coming. Christian's coming.
Okay, because Cordell's been on a couple of times. And so,
yeah.
so my point is, whoever is elected, we got to make sure that they're serving this community, and then that part of the oppressors who've been constantly pushing us out of Harlem, out of Manhattan, out of New York City. We've lost so many Black folks, middle class, working class. They have now moved upstate. They moved to the South, and this is no longer becoming an attraction because it's so unaffordable, you know, and it's so hard, and so. We need to make sure that all these elected officials, but also your neighbors, all of us need to be held accountable to each other. That's the message I want to leave today.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for stepping in, for being in, for doing what you do. I'm Terri Wisdom, and this is Harlem Network News. And you know where to find us, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, HarlemNetworkNews.com, Clubhouse, and soon to be on MNN, because we've got to expand. We've got to keep, the metamorphosis going. It's critical to our community, and we are committed to you. You can reach out to us and make donations, story ideas. We will follow them. And thank you, William Allen. Please allow folks to know how to get in touch with you regarding voting matters and political clubs and so on and so forth, and district leaders. Okay, we're not hearing William Allen. We can't hear you right now.
917-612-2871. And my email is williamallennyc@gmail.com. Allen is ALLEN. Have a good Sunday. Thank you for listening.
Okay. Blessings, Harlem. Stay strong. Thank you. Harlem Network News, Terri Wisdom, coming to you live. Have a good evening.